Is Honda getting ready to launch an all-new Civic Type R with 400 horsepower and four-wheel drive? Well, it might not be impossible. And in this video, I'm going to tell you all you need to know about this new hot hatch and show you photos of a prototype before you're supposed to see it. Also, I've got some exclusive renderings of what this new car could look like. Now stick around, I'll reveal them throughout the entire video. Anyway, I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching CarWow.
Buying a new car? Then head to CarWow, and my team will help you find your next car at a fair price. CarWow, your one-stop car buying comparison site.
Honda has just revealed the all-new Civic for 2022, and it's confirmed that it's going to make a Type R version. This will be the 6th generation of the world-famous hot hatch, and it has a lot to live up to. The latest Civic Type R is one of the best driver's cars you can buy. Yeah, I know it looks like something out of a dodgy sci-fi comic, but its 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine is an absolute gem. It revs like crazy and it makes a hefty 320 horsepower. That's the same as you get in the new Volkswagen Golf R, but there are a few massive differences between these cars. The Golf R has 4-wheel drive and a clever automatic gearbox with launch control, but the Civic Type R has front-wheel drive and a manual gearbox, so it's much harder to launch. Even if you absolutely nail the start, you'll struggle to match Honda's claimed 5.8 second 0 to 60 time. That's more than a second slower than the Volkswagen, which is supposed to do 0 to 60 miles an hour in 4.7 seconds, although I've actually timed it at 4 seconds flat. Now that's insanely quick, isn't it, for a Golf? So how is Honda going to catch up? Well, before we get into power and performance, I want to talk about the new car's design. Check out these photos of a prototype being tested. It looks like Honda is about to go completely balls out with the styling again. The test car has all the usual Type R bits, including massive wheels, wider arches and a real aggressive body kit. And you know there'll be acres of fake grills and intakes, all under that camouflage, just like on the current car. In fact, here's my first picture showing what the next Civic Type R could look like. Yeah, it looks like the next generation Type R might be just as polarising as today's car. It might have all sorts of black skirts, tons of red trim and a huge intake on the bonnet. And those wider wheel arches look absolutely bonkers. I think Honda might as well go all out. At least you'll never mistake it for a bog specification car, like you might a Volkswagen Golf R, which is a bit of a shrinking violet. But even if you don't like the new car's front, stick around because you might like some of the other angles. I'll show you them in a bit. Anyway, let's talk about power first. Honda can't just give the new car 320 horsepower and call it a day. Just imagine how angry all the fanboys would get if it did. Remember when Honda replaced the bread van EP3 Civic Type R with the FN2? You know, the one that looked like a spaceship? Yeah, it only gave it 1 extra horsepower. Honda won't make that mistake again. In fact, there are some rumours going around that the next Civic Type R was going to be a 400 horsepower hybrid. That would be a massive step up. It will go from competing with the Golf R and Audi S3 to hyper hatches like the RS3 and the AMG A45S. And there could be some truth to these rumours. After all, the standard Civic is going hybrid only, and Honda knows a lot about making high performance hybrids. Just look at the NSX supercar. That has a twin-turbo 3.5 litre V6 petrol engine with 507 horsepower, but it also has 3 electric motors that crank the power output to 581 horsepower. I reckon the NSX is a great all-round performance car, but is it better than an Nismo GTR? Well, I've made a whole video with those two cars to find out which is best. Now there should be a link just popping out just up there, top right corner of the screen. Click on that and you can watch my head-to-head of the Nismo GTR versus the Honda NSX. Anyway, if you want to find out more about this new Civic, stay here. You see, maybe Honda could fit some of the NSX's motors to the new Type R. And maybe it could even use them to drive the rear wheels. Now this would add a lot of power and make it 4-wheel drive. Now the idea of a 4-wheel drive Civic Type R might sound like blasphemy, but Honda isn't afraid to shake things up sometimes. After all, the latest Civic doesn't look anything like a hatchback anymore, does it? It's more like a small saloon. And the new Civic Type R will be pretty similar. Check out what it could look like from the side. It actually looks more like a fastback or a 4-door coupe, doesn't it? What's more, if Honda's ready to ditch the traditional hot hatch styling, then maybe it's time to give up on front-wheel drive too. It wouldn't be the first brand to use electric motors to turn a front-wheel drive car into a four-wheel drive performance car either. Peugeot's had a go with a 508 PSE. This uses a 200 horsepower 2-litre petrol engine and an electric motor to drive the front wheels, and another electric motor at the back to drive the rear wheels. This hybrid system makes 360 horsepower in total, and the 508 PSE does 0 to 60 miles an hour in 5.2 seconds. Now that's a lot quicker than today's Civic Type R, even though it's bigger and heavier. So going hybrid could be a great way for Honda to make its next Civic much quicker in a straight line and for launching. Honda has also said that it will electrify its entire range of cars in Europe by 2025, so that includes the next Type R. But don't get too excited. This doesn't guarantee Honda will build a bonkers four-wheel drive Civic Type R hybrid. It just means that it will add some kind of electric motor, like a mild hybrid system, to all its cars eventually. And there's another reason Honda might not go full hybrid with the new Type R, and it's to do with its gearbox. It's much easier to make a hybrid system play nicely with an automatic gearbox than a manual. This is because the car's computer doesn't have to try to predict when you might change gear. It already knows because it's calling the shots. And you can bet that the new Civic Type R will still come with a lovely manual gearbox. After all, that's part of the car's calling card right now, isn't it? In fact, it's probably the best manual gearbox in any car on sale at the moment. So this means that you could probably kiss goodbye to the idea of a four-wheel drive hybrid Civic Type R for now. Instead, the next model will probably have a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine and front-wheel drive, just like the current car. But it could have closer to 340 or 350 horsepower, and you've got the same clever suspension, differential and electronic upgrades to keep all this power under control. Another reason why it might not have a hybrid system is due to weight. And the Civic Type R's other key calling card is the fact that it handles brilliantly. It's like a touring car when you take it on track. It's light, responsive and nimble, and you'll get a reduction in that if you add weight. Really? Is the addition of four-wheel drive worth that sacrifice? Probably not. I've actually tested a Honda Civic Type R against two four-wheel drive hatchbacks on track, a Toyota GR Yaris and an AMG A45S. Now if you want to see that video, click on the pop-out banner up there to go watch it. Now the standard Type R is immense on track, but if you have the limited edition version, it's even better. So Honda has removed some weight from this car to make it even more nimble and agile. I mean, it doesn't even have a radio. So if Honda's that committed to making a car light and nimble, can you really see it turning the next Type R into a heavy, complicated hybrid? Probably not. Now you'll find out when Honda reveals the actual finished car, which will probably happen in late 2021 or sometime early 2022. But until then, here's a final look at what the car could look like when it's finally revealed. Now it'll still have a massive rear wing, of course, and the current car's triple exhaust looks so cool that Honda has to keep them for the new car. I mean, it really does, doesn't it? But what do you think? Should Honda tone down the design a bit for the next Type R? Or do you think that it should just make the new car four-wheel drive so it can compete with the Germans? What do you reckon? What would you like to see from the next Civic Type R? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you did, please give it a like. If you want to watch some more videos, click on those windows there. And if you click on that box there, you can go to CarWow and we will help you sell your old car. You can sell it through us. We'll get a great price for it. It's easy. Go check it out. Click on that box.